In this video, I'm going to show you how I turned a £2,000 conversation into £188,000. Have you ever wondered why some people stay incredibly at a same level in business and some get incredibly financially successful? A massive part of that reason is not because they work harder. That is a misnomer and that will be a mistake. The reason that they become incredibly successful is because they manage to master their communication, because communication is your currency. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you the 3-step formula to make sure that you can implement this type of process into your business and start generating massive wins that literally take your business to a whole new level. So let me give you a little bit of a background. Well, I started my first coaching and consultancy company when I was 17 years young, and I scaled it from £30 to £3 million. And mastering my communication and the ability to communicate and negotiate in the way that I'm going to show you, it really helped me to catapult to a new level of success. So as we were working with a number of schools, and at this time, I think we were working at maybe about 35, 40 primary schools across the country. And a school called us up and they said, hey, we're looking for lunchtime clubs. Now, what my company used to do, JNC Education, is we used to go in schools and deliver high quality PE, music, drama, art, French, and Spanish. And when they called us up to do lunchtime club, at this point, we had a number of teachers on board and we wanted to get people into full-time roles. And at this point, doing lunchtime clubs for an hour wasn't necessarily feasible. However, here's what I did, is I researched the school and I started to look into some data, and I noticed that it was a massive primary school in East London, and because they were a massive school, I started to realize that there was more scope to be had. And that is important when you start to identify these patterns in your business, because you will start to identify, hey, who is my ideal client? Once you find your ideal client, you never want to let them go when they first contact you, because you want to be able to explore and expand upon how you can deliver the ultimate level of value. So I went to the school, despite them saying, oh, we only want, a £2,000 contract for kind of like a couple of lunchtime clubs and stuff. So I went there and I started to ask really powerful questions. I sat down with the assistant head teacher and she said, yeah, we just want the lunchtime clubs. And I said, well, why do you want the lunchtime clubs? She said, well, we want our children to have a really thriving education and we want that to continue throughout the lunchtime. So I said, all right, great. What's happening there at the moment? And they said, well, the SMSAs, which are school meal supervisor assistants, something like that, they cover the lunchtime clubs and they're not very engaging, they're not very inclusive. I said, okay, great. What else? Now, here's where you're going to start to get smart, and here's where this really started to happen for us. I said, what else are you doing in terms of having engaging lessons for your primary school PE? And they said, well, we got the teacher to do it. And I said, how's that going for you? She said, yeah, it's okay, but it could be better. And I said, okay, great. And what about your music? What are you doing there? And she said, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of like not great. I said, brilliant. And what are you doing for your drama lessons? And they said, oh, we've never fully thought about drama, but maybe that's something that we can add in. You see, by exploring and asking really intelligent questions, I was able to open up new problems that the school didn't know that they had. So I continued to ask these types of questions, and I said, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, Mrs. Rachel, if you were to grade the quality of your PE provision right now, where would it be? And they said, well, it's like a 6. And I said, oh, brilliant. And as a result of working with a world-class PE team and creative education team, where would you like it to be? And she said, oh, we would love it to be more like a 9 or a 10. We want to be one of the leading schools in the borough for creative education and creative art, but we just don't have the budget. This is where you need to overcome typical objections, because as a consultant, you're going to get these types of objections. We don't have the budget, we don't have the funds, and so on and so forth. However, rewind back to what she said 5-10 minutes earlier. Well, we have SMSAs. So I said, well, how many SMSAs do you have? And I can't remember the exact number, but let's say they said 30. I said, brilliant. Well, if you had world-class PE instruction right the way through the day, how many would you actually need at lunchtime? They said, well, we'd only need like 4 or 5. Brilliant. And what's that? What are you paying at the moment? They did the sums, they did the maths, and then we realized how we can incorporate the PE and the lunchtime clubs and the after school clubs and like really start to not only deliver a more fantastic education for them, but really save them money in the process. And then we did the same with the music and the art. And I said, listen, if we can deliver a 10 out of 10 solution for you to deliver really high standards, because on your notice board outside, Mrs. Rachel, it says striving for excellence. So how can we work together to strive for excellence in the creative curriculum as well as in the academic curriculum? Boom. Now what we're doing is we are speaking the language of the client. Because when you start to speak about the things that you want as a business owner, the things that you desire, then their brain is naturally going to switch off. What you have to learn to do is to speak their language. And this is what we call pattern recognition. I recognized the pattern around what they were talking about with SMSAs. I recognized the pattern of what I saw on the logo. And I initially recognized the pattern of the size of the school, which helped me to identify that this could be a very good ideal client for us. And because they had a good reputation, that then expanded and helped us to reach even more schools. So what happened was I said, look, I want to make sure that we deliver an amazing service for you. So I'm going to send in 4 teachers next week. You can assess them, bring the head teacher in with you, and then we'll run it throughout the day. And if it's not the best lessons you've ever seen, then we'll walk away and you can continue doing what you're doing. And she said, okay, no problem. I said, however, if it is the best thing that you've ever seen and it's a really, really good standard of lessons, then we will work together to look at the budget and how we can make sure that it works for you as a school. She said, yeah, no problem. We delivered, obviously, the fantastic lessons. The head teacher was there, the deputy head teacher was there, the assistant head teacher was there. I came in towards the end of the school day and I said, yeah, was it brilliant? And they said, yes, absolutely fantastic. And we got the contract signed at approximately £188,000. Now, the important thing is that this contract was worth way more to our business, probably in excess or around about £1 million, because we were with that same school for a number of years, not to mention the number of referrals that we got from working with that school as well. So you may be thinking, Jazz, this is great how you turned a £2,000 conversation into a £188,000 conversation. But what about me? How can I implement this into my business? First of all, you've got to understand that communication is your currency. And think about someone like Curtis White. Curtis White was a DJ and he implemented a similar framework that I taught him on one of our money mastery programs back in 2020. So he was a DJ working part-time and working full-time as an NHS employee. And he said to me, hey, Jazz, I'm not really getting a lot of customers right now because it's COVID and the DJs are not really booking me that they used to book in the way that they used to book me. So I said, well, what about if you actually go to the bar owners and you become the person that books other people? He said, you know what? I've never really thought about that. I've always just seen myself as a DJ. Anyway, he goes away that very same week. He has a conversation with a bar owner, and I'll shorten it for you. But essentially, he says, "Hey, how would you like an additional 300 people in your bar next weekend?" And they went, "Well, yeah, absolutely. It sounds fantastic. Like we've been quiet because it's been COVID, and we're just opening things up again." He said, "Brilliant. If I bring you 300 people, how much revenue would that bring for you?" And they said, I'm not really sure. Well, did the calculations. Well, that would be about 30 grand. I said, brilliant. If I bring 30 grand to you, Mr. Bar owner, would it be fair to pay me 10? Now notice the cadence of communication here. Would it be fair? That word, it strikes a chord with people. Why? Because from school age, from 5-6-year-old, you're taught to do what in the playground? Be fair. Everybody likes to be fair, okay? So using the right language, the right tonality, it really makes a massive difference. And he said, yeah, that'll be fair. Fantastic. Sent in the contract. He organized the event with all of the people that he knows from his DJ events previously. He brought hundreds of people over to the bar and they had an amazing event. But it didn't stop there for Curtis. He went on to have loads of events and now he runs events internationally around the globe. He's obviously quit his previous 9-to-5 and he's living his dream life, traveling to multiple countries across the world, hosting events and parties. So what could you do to implement this kind of communication structure and pattern into your business? I want to give you 3 cool ideas to walk away with that you can start to implement straight away so that you can start to make more money in your coaching, consultancy, or agency type business. You ready? Firstly, if this is resonating with you and you're getting value from this video, do me a favor, subscribe so that YouTube knows to show it to more people just like you, because we want to make sure that we share the value. And if you want to take this conversation further, perhaps you want us to help you to implement this type of training, this type of sales, marketing, communication training, so that you can take your business to the next level. Well, go ahead, tap the link below and book a call with me and my team. So, what are the 3 things that you need to take away from this video? Number 1, negotiation. You are always in a negotiation. Chris Voss says this, the author of Never Split the Difference. What a brilliant book, by the way. Go and check it out. You are always negotiating, and you will always lose every negotiation that you don't know you're in. So make sure that you're always cued into what are people saying, what are people's pain points, what are people's difficulties and challenges. Because once you can identify those challenges, you can do part number 2, which is to identify what we call as a problem solution scenario. And I go through this for literally about 3 or 4 hours in one of our money mastery or business growth intensive events, where I show people how to identify the problems of their ideal customer and how to then create a remarkable solution. That's exactly what I did at a primary school in East London. I said, what are your problems with this? What are your problems with that? And what are your problems here? And then I said, if we can create, write this down because this is the line that I want you to take home to the bank. If we can create a world-class solution to help you go from insert your problem to insert your solution, how would that look for you? They will tell you exactly what they want in terms of the solution, and providing that you can then demonstrate your ability to provide that solution, ka-ching, 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 you will be laughing, my friends, all the way to Barclays Bank or wherever you bank. And finally, that brings us on to point number 3. This is probably the most critical, and I don't want you to miss it. Demonstrate. When you demonstrate your expertise, many coaches, consultants, agency owners, and experts make this mistake. They do the demonstration, but the decision maker is not in the room. Now, if the decision maker is not in the room, what happens? It delays process. It delays your ability to get that contract signed, sealed, delivered, and get it over the line. Now, I turned a $2,000 conversation into $188,000. Why was I able to do that in one conversation? It's because I got the decision makers in the room, I got them emotionally enrolled into it, and I got them physically present on the day. And that meant when I went in on that afternoon, all that had to happen was a 30-minute conversation about when we were going to start, and they signed the contract. Here's another little nuanced tip that I want you to take away with you. What we did was, when I met with Rachel in the first instant, she was happy for us to then deliver the demo. I said, well, what you're gonna see is gonna be absolutely world-class. So what I will do in order to make sure that everything is really efficient for you, I will send the contract and agreement in advance. Don't sign anything until you're 100% happy. What did that do? That meant she was able to pass it on to the relevant people, the bursars, the business manager, the head teacher, etc. before I then came to actually get the contract signed. They'd already read it, which meant that they just had to put the time, date, and signature, and away we went, £188,000 in the bank. So, what was the key thing that you took away from this video? Write it down in the comments below. And remember, stay subscribed. Click the alert button so that you get notified on new videos just like this one. And if you want to book a call with my team to help you explore how you can implement this type of frame into your business, or you just want to discover how we can potentially help you to take your business to the next level, the link below will be to book a call with me or my team. I look forward to speaking with you soon and helping you to take your business to the next level. I'm Jazz Rose, you're amazing, and I'll see you soon.